What up, though, YouTube? Welcome back to another YouTube video, you feel me? Today, Dynasty deep dive. As you can see, man, niggas is deep in this bitch, man. 30,000 motherfuckers in this bitch already, man. I already like this motherfuckers. It's already gonna be covered. So it's been 6 minutes long, I think. Man, we've been waiting for this bitch since they announced the game, bro. Like, this is literally all motherfuckers want to know about, for real, bro. Come on, EA. 6 minutes long ass blog too. Holy fuck, we gotta be sitting in this chair for at least 2 hours.
Hey everyone, Kirk Herbstreit here with EA Sports College Football 25, back for another deep dive. This time we're talking about everyone's favorite mode, Dynasty. Online Dynasty in College Football 25 can accommodate up to 32 teams, and you can play with friends for up to 30 seasons. Today we'll take a closer look at the new 12-team college football playoff, recruiting, the transfer portal, and a ton of customization options to make your program unique. College football has seen seismic changes over the past few years. And in EA Sports College Football 25, you can experience this new landscape while building your program the way you want. The 2024 season marks the debut of the new 12-team college football playoff, and you can play it first in the game months before the real thing. You could be the first coach to lead your school through the new 12-team playoff and hoist the college football playoff trophy.
Go blue.
Recruiting is the lifeblood of college football, and in a world of unlimited transfers, managing your dynasty roster roster has never been more important. Evaluate your needs and opportunities for talent upgrades at the start of each season. The best way to build a powerhouse is to recruit through the high school ranks. So let's fill up your recruiting board. Each year, over 3,500 high school recruits are generated from all over the country, with certain regions representing real-world hotspots for blue-chip talent, like South Florida and Metro Atlanta. Do research to find recruits that best fit your program and determine who you can realistically land. A recruit's interest in your school is decided by 14 different pitch grades like proximity to home, playing time, and brand exposure. So you'll need to discover how your program's pitch grades align with your recruit's desires, in addition to scouting for talent. Some players have a deal breaker requirement, and if your program cannot provide, the recruit will lock you out. Deal breakers also drive a player's decision to enter the transfer portal. Monitor at-risk players and get one last chance to convince your favorites to stay. Track your recruits as they narrow down their top schools. Pitch a prospect to gain more interest, and then set up school visits when the timing is right. It's crucial to remain in their top 10, then 8, then 5, to finally be part of their top 3. As a recruit trims down to the top 8, you can attempt to increase your appeal. If your school doesn't have exactly what the prospect is looking for, you can try to sway their opinion in your favor. Plan visits that elevate a recruit's experience, like pairing a quarterback visit with a wide receiver visit at the same time. It's crucial to keep an eye on the transfer portal when it opens in the off-season to round out your roster with talent you couldn't land from recruiting. Add portal prospects to your board just like you would with recruiting, but expect quick decisions as transfers have a shorter timeline to land a new home. Conference realignment is a hot topic in college football. And with custom conferences in EA Sports College Football 25...
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I think I'm gonna actually reset the conferences how they usually... I think I'm gonna set it to how they should be, not how they used to be or how they is now. I'm gonna either do that or I'm gonna have it how it is, or how it should, or how it used to be, not how it should be, but how it should be and how it used to be is one of the things I'm gonna do probably.
Dynasty is yours to control. See what a 20-team super conference might look like, or revert to the traditional conference alignment. Shape the conference size and membership and set custom conference rules, set up divisions, and more. Once you've settled your conference options, it's time to select your team. Begin with a highly ranked team and dominate at the top with repeat recruiting and playoff success. Or build from the ground up with a smaller program and prove you have what it takes to go from an unknown to postseason favorite. We can't talk about your dynasty without talking about your starting job. Start as an offensive or defensive coordinator and climb the ranks to head coach, or take over a program as the head coach right away. Choose from one of the 3 base coaching types to start. Your coach type will determine what coaching skill tree you start with. From there, the abilities you acquire as you progress will determine what kind of coach you develop into. Unlock additional skill trees with better abilities. Or, if you build up multiple skill trees, you can unlock hybrid trees that leverage a more diverse skill set. The coaching carousel is an important part of every coach's journey. Whether you're the head man at your dream school or working your way up, the carousel is your way of fielding offers from other programs. Head coaches in Dynasty can actively manage their coordinator positions. So if one of your staff takes a job elsewhere, or you decide to cut ties for other reasons, you can use the carousel to replace them. Remember, even the greatest coaches need support, and every coach has a unique skill tree. It's important to think about how you want to build your staff, whether that's doubling down on your existing strengths to max out your benefits or seeking out balance for a well-rounded staff. Choose wisely. The decisions you make here will matter to your program's success and your coach's progression. The benefits of coach talents are stackable. So if your head coach and defensive coordinator have the same ability, the impact for that ability will be greater. Well, that's it for today's deep dive into Dynasty mode in EA Sports College Football 25. To make it game day every day this season, pre-order the MVP
bundle. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad at all. But the real details is in that motherfucking blog that we gotta read. That's supposedly 16,000 words long. And that's long as fuck, bro. I ain't even gonna lie to you. We're gonna go ahead and look at that real quick. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all, bro. What I'm gonna do, cause I know y'all tired of me reading, cause I keep fucking up shit and I keep complaining it's too much. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna end this video right here for now. To me, it's ended right now, but for y'all gonna get some more shit. We are going to come back. Well, the next clip is going to be me watching Eric Mayweather video, cause I know he's gonna read all this shit. He's definitely gonna read all this shit. Me, I'm not reading all this shit out loud, bro. Like, I can't sit here. This light is really creating heat. Is making me hot as fuck. It's July. It's hot as fuck. This hat is not the right hat to be wearing in July. It's hot as fuck. It's hot in this room. I'm hot as fuck. I'm sweating. I'm thirsty. Every time, like it's too much going on, bro. I'm gonna just wait till Eric upload his video, then we're gonna get back on this bitch and we're gonna watch that, cause he's gonna break this shit down better than me, cause I'm just reading every single word and that shit is pissing me the fuck off. So I'm gonna see you on the next clip. Shit. Tired of this. 38 minutes. Timestamp 38 minutes. Like, what the fuck, bro? Alright, y'all. Nah, you know what I'm saying? It's been a good 2-3 hours now. So I've been, oh shit, I'm close as fuck to the mic. God damn. But like I said, you know what I'm saying? I was gonna come back in the next clip. It's the next clip. Now we're about to go ahead and watch Eric's video. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not fucking librarians. We're not teachers. I'm not about to sit here and fucking read this shit and give y'all a fucking lecture like I'm teaching a lecture, bro. Why the fuck am I still talking? I'm yapping.
They met with college coaches and experts to break down real-life coaches, and they said this. What we found was that both current and former coaches broadly fit into 3 main categories. Some are incredible recruiters, while others are motivators who maximize the potential of their players, and lastly, tacticians out-scheme their opponents with on-field X's and O's. There were also a number of coaches who were more of a hybrid between 2 categories, but 2 things were loud and clear. No coach was great at everything, and there is no single path to being a great coach. All of our research and discussions led us to build a coach experience centered around 3 goals. No coach can be great at everything. There's a rock, paper, scissors relationship between coach types with no dominant progression path, and coordinators and how you build your staff matter. So let's start with coach progression. Progressing your coach starts with playing games. As you play, you will complete coach goals that award XP. Once you earn enough XP, you will level up.
This part of the blog, it was really it wasn't nothing new for real. Like, it was what you would think it would be. It's just really just telling you, informing you for real, for the niggas just, not familiar with the shit. But it's basically the same shit like as before and as it is in Madden. So it's really not that crazy for real. It's just a little different.
Up your coach to a maximum level of 50 and be awarded coach points. Coach points can be spent to upgrade your coach's abilities. More on that later. There are 4 coach XP goal categories that can be single game, weekly, season, or career goals. You've got the draft, you've got game, you've got recruiting, and you've got stats. I will leave this up on the screen so you can read what each thing does.
Yeah, so draft, it's like pro draft. I think we read this. I think I read this part. Well, I'll cut it out of the video, so y'all see it though, you know what I'm saying?
But for sake of making this video not so long, we're going to keep it moving. You'll be able to check your completed goals as well as your progression towards certain goals. If you complete a goal in game, there will be an on-screen notification. There's also 5 progression speed settings, so you can modify how fast coaches progress in your dynasty. Coach archetypes. The archetype system is similar to your traditional RPG classes, where all of your party members have a specific class or archetype and role. To be successful, everyone must work together. It says here, our system is no different. All coaches will start with the base class or coach archetype, which can be thought of as a special ability in a traditional RPG. Just like our real life coaches, the base archetypes fall into 3 categories: recruiting, motivation, and scheme. From your base archetype, you can progress in multiple ways. You can become an expert in a single category like recruiting, where you become an elite recruiter and excel on the recruiting trail. Alternatively, you can become a hybrid coach who is strong in multiple areas. For example, a talent developer who is great at both talent acquisition, which is recruiting, and player development, which is motivation. The ultimate goal is to become a program builder or CEO atop the world of college football. Achieving an elite archetype like program builder or CEO is a combination of on-field success and ability progression. There is no single formula to reach these statuses. You will be able to mix and match different ability combinations and progression paths, leading to strong customization. In today, there are 11 different archetypes, each with their own focuses and perks. Together, they form a rock, paper, and scissors relationship where there is no dominant archetype. While there is no doubt that talent acquisition is the most important thing in college football, focusing solely on recruiting can leave you vulnerable in other areas. With that being said, remember that no coach can be great at everything. So how do you upgrade your archetypes and what does it do? Each archetype requires specific...
That kind of makes sense though. You feel me? You can't be no overpowered ass coach. Like, you go have some flaws, bro. Like, you go need them assistant coaches. You gonna need them offensive coordinators or defensive coordinators and shit like that.
Specific prerequisites and objectives to be met before they can be purchased. For instance, to become an elite recruiter, you need to invest 50 coach points in the recruiter archetype and sign 2 top 5 recruiting classes. Once these criteria are fulfilled, you can unlock the archetype using coach points. When creating your coach, you choose your starting archetype, with the other 2 becoming available for purchase without additional requirements.
I hate it!
Are you ready? From completing goals inside of your dynasty. Unlocking an archetype provides access to new abilities and enhances your opportunities in the coaching carousel. Each archetype offers a unique perk when active. For example, the tactician archetype grants the winner perk.
Bro, his video is 36 minutes, bro. I was gonna read the whole blog to y'all, bro. And it's just like, bro, it's no reason that I was gonna sit here and read that whole blog. Nobody's even watching that long of a video of me sitting here struggling with these fucking words. Nobody's doing that shit. I'm not doing that shit. That's why we're watching Eric Mayweather. What I'm gonna call him Mayweather. I don't think it's Mayweather, but I'm gonna call him Mayweather.
Which awards additional coach XP for every game won. Your active archetype is automatically determined. If you own the program builder or CEO archetypes, they remain active regardless of your spending in other archetypes. Track your progress in the coach ability screen, where you can view unlock requirements, perks, and your advancement in each archetype. As you allocate coach points across archetypes, the spider graph in the center of the screen reflects your coach's evolving profile. How do the abilities work? Once you own an archetype, you can purchase the abilities within it. The game is introducing more than 50 coach abilities. Each ability can have up to 4 tiers, and every tier has a purchase cost associated with it. Every archetype, with the exception of Scheme Guru, Program Builder, and CEO, has their abilities broken down by position group. This increases the level of depth and specialization each coach has. No longer is a coach great at recruiting across the board. Now, coaches will specialize in specific position groups, making your staff composition that much more important. Are you a quarterback whisperer? Are you great in the trenches and committed to the no-fly zone? How does your staff complement you? There are also coach abilities with core gameplay effects. For example, the Scheme Guru archetype focuses on your gameplay style. If you are a coach who likes to play fast, you can upgrade fast tempo offense, providing you with the following boost: battery pack at tier 1, caught napping at tier 2, on their heels at tier 3, and tipped your hand at tier 4, and you can see the explanations for this on the screen. You can also make your team a well-oiled machine who doesn't work against themselves and is unfazed by rowdy home field crowds. And here are some more examples of what that would look like at different tiers. Of course, balance is critically important here, so there are defensive counters to all offensive playstyle abilities. The Program Builder and CEO archetypes are different in that they are only available to head coaches. The abilities within them are diverse and range from roster management and program culture to home field advantage and recruiting pipeline boosts. What about coordinators? Both coordinators and head coaches have the same set of abilities and archetypes available to them.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I did not like this part of the blog. It was just basic. It was so fucking long and boring. Like, I don't give a fuck that much about coaching carousel and like abilities like that. Like, but I understand that they, you know what I'm saying, they giving us, they really going in depth because they put a lot of work into this shit. It was definitely informative as fuck though, for sure. But this shit was really blowing me because like, and then I couldn't retain a lot of the shit because it was like, bro, it's just, it makes sense. It's common sense.
Leading to a natural progression from coordinator to head coach and increased importance on staff management.
I think all everybody wanted to know is how recruiting is working. That's it. That's all motherfuckers really wanted to know about for real, is how recruiting working. Niggas don't really give a fuck about the abilities as like that much. Like, nigga, the highlight of the blog was about recruiting,
where your coordinators either complement your strengths or shore up your deficiencies. All of the abilities your coaching staff owns stack, increasing the effect of an ability. Abilities owned by the head coach have the greatest impact. The impact of coordinator-owned abilities depends on whether or not the ability is related to their side of the ball. Climbing the coaching ladder. Your journey starts when you sign your first coach contract. When creating your dynasty, you will have the option to select whether you want to be a head coach, offensive, or defensive coordinator. Coordinators have performance expectations just like a head coach. All roles will have full control of recruiting and be able to play both sides of the ball during gameplay. Every time you start a new coaching job, you'll be asked to sign a contract with that school. The contract will have a set contract length and performance expectations. Failure to meet those expectations will result in bad things happening. School expectations are determined by the school's current team prestige and program standing. The better the school, the higher the expectations. These are the 4 types of contract expectations: win X amount of games, win a conference championship, make the college football playoff, or win a national championship.
Basically, I fucking hate ads.
Job security will fluctuate throughout the season based on the results
somehow
of your games and whether or not you are trending towards meeting your contract expectations. If your job security gets too low, you will end up on the hot seat, and if your seat gets too hot, you'll be fired and looking for a new job in the coaching carousel. All coaches have a coach prestige letter grade that ranges from A+ to F. Coach prestige is reflective of your ability to meet contract expectations adjusted for the school and role that you have. For example, meeting expectations and winning 5 games at a small school will have significantly smaller impact than winning the SEC championship at a traditional powerhouse school. So let's talk about the coaching carousel. It says, in College Football 25, we set out to recreate the chaos that is the college football coaching carousel, along with the domino effects it brings. Now, instead of happening over a single week, the coaching carousel takes place over the course of 5 weeks from conference championship week to the end of bowl season, just like the real world. The coaching carousel starts during the conference championship week. Schools decide to fire, extend, or let coaches' contracts expire. Coaches receive notifications if they're affected. Head coaches can also fire their coordinators. During bowl season, initial job offers are sent out. Coaches will be notified with a view job offers action if they have offers, or a generic coach carousel action if not. This allows them to see job offers in open positions nationwide. The carousel continues over weeks as school hires and poach coaches, new job openings emerge. Coaches can view job offers including preferences, previous coach changes, top candidates, and contract details. Accepting an offer keeps coaches with their current team until after the national championship game, allowing them to coach any bowl games. A countdown in the Dynasty Hub shows weeks until the job changes. New head coaches can manage staff and hire coordinators during the carousel. If coaches are fired or their contracts expire without a new job, they are placed on a new team after the national championship game. Each school has a persona which determines what they are looking for in their next coach. Schools will evaluate candidates across the following criteria: level, scheme, archetype, pipeline, and coach prestige. If you want to pause the video and read what each one is, you can, but we're going to keep it.
The higher a coach's level, the more powerful they are and the more abilities they have. Schools are always looking for highest caliber coach they can find. Certain schools, like the military academies, want a coach who runs a specific style of offense or defense. Archetype schools have a preference of the type of coach they are building to hire, just like the real world. Blue Bloods prefer elite coaches who are a program builder or CEO. Pipeline, all coaches have a primary pipeline which provides a boost in recruiting. This is meant to simulate an area of the country where they have strong ties and relationships in recruiting. Schools prefer coaches whose primary pipeline is the same as one of the school's recruiting pipelines. Whole lot of pipeline. Coach prestige. A coach's prestige is compared against the school's team prestige. A 5-star program is not going to hire a coach who is mid and only a C- coach prestige. Makes sense though. Why the fuck would Michigan want a fucking coach from fucking Coastal Carolina? Like,
bit moving so that this video doesn't get way too long. It says here it's also important to keep in mind the domino effect when you're evaluating whether or not to accept an offer. Just because a job isn't open today doesn't mean it won't be available next week. Now let's talk about managing your staff. As a head coach, you will have the opportunity to manage your staff and hire/fire your coordinators. Remember, the coach archetype system.
This shit is like exhausting to just absorb this much information. Like, I feel like I'm in school, bro. Like, this is why I didn't read it out loud. Like, it just feels so exhausting just absorbing all this information.
Does not allow for you to be great at everything.
I'm excited for the game though. That's the crazy part. Like, you feel me? It's the reason I'm watching this video, even though I fucking read this shit already.
Making who you surround yourself with that much more important. Staff management is your opportunity to build your staff the way that you want in an effort to put yourself in the best position to succeed as a program. During conference championship week, you can fire coordinators, which is your only chance to do so unless they are hired by another school. Coordinators have a standard 2-year contract that auto-renews. If their contract is nearing its end, they might be poached by another school during the carousel, giving you a chance to hire a replacement. Starting from Bowl Week 1, you can hire new coordinators. You'll see a curated list of candidates tailored to your school's needs. Each candidate's current school, archetype, coach level, and interested schools are available. You can also review their talent tree to assess their fit with your staff. Offering a position doesn't guarantee acceptance. Each week, you can only offer one coach per position. After advancing the week, you'll know if they accepted. If not, you can offer another coach. If a position remains unfilled after the carousel, you'll automatically receive a coordinator suitable for your program's caliber. Build your program. There is no question that in today's world, roster management and talent acquisition
I'm mad as hell, bro. I'm mad as hell. You can't, like, say if you do like a small school, they got a small stadium, you know what I'm saying? You can't build up they stadium or field, I don't think, once they start doing good. Like, if you a fucking powerhouse, you still got the capacity of fucking 5,000 people. Like, what the fuck, bro? That's weak as hell. Maybe next year they'll implement that in the game, but that definitely eliminated a few teams from my list. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna let y'all know the teams left at the end of the vid, so stay tuned, man.
Of college football and building your program. Players can now transfer whenever they want, and they have expectations for you and your program. Some are looking to play early, others want to win a championship and play in big games, and stars want to grow their brand beyond the field. Aligning with what your program can do for them has never been more important. EA talked with coaches, players, and even the community to determine what program management should look like for the game. It says, ultimately, we landed on 4 core goals when building your program. Humanize recruits by giving them unique needs and motivations that the player has to discover by interacting with the recruit. Differentiate regions of the country by player caliber, quality, and type to authentically capture high school talent based on historical real-world data. Represent the different resources available to schools, ensuring that the top schools can blanket the country while smaller schools will need to be more targeted with their approach, and make the transfer portal feel authentically unpredictable. Welcome to staged recruiting. It says we're introducing a new staged recruiting experience built around 3 distinct phases: discovery, pitch, and close. Just like in the real world, every recruit will be in a different stage of their process. Where they are in their process will dictate how you interact with them and the level of engagement they require. Recruiting begins with discovery, where you gather information about a prospect quickly to assess their alignment with your program. Once a recruit announces their top 5 schools, you move into the pitch phase. Here you sell your program and how well it meets the recruits.
Bro, I'm mad as hell they ain't like touch on what all these is. Like, it's only a I don't think they say anything about these. You probably just gotta find out when the game come out.
Motivations. The final stage is close, where you host the recruit for an official visit to make a...
Like, you could probably assume that TV time is like I think it said basically a pitch is like you learning about what is most important to them, and then you use one of these pitches as, like, you know what I'm saying, brand exposure is one of the recruiter shit. So you want to pitch TV time because that'll give him more brand exposure, because, you know, TV, because he care about brand exposure. You feel me? So, you know, that's how you play
lasting impression. A successful visit can lead to significant gains and possibly a verbal commitment. The recruit's final decision comes on National Signing Day. It says here, when we talk...
Like, the recruiting part of the blog was the most interesting for sure, because it's like, that's what motherfuckers care about for real, is the recruiting part of things, aside from playing the game, actually.
About being 134 ways to play, we are talking more than just on-field gameplay. Every school is graded from D- to A+ across 14 different categories, which comprise their My School grades. These grades define who a program is and what their strengths and weaknesses are. Now, here are the 14 different categories, and they're pretty much self-explanatory, even though they come with descriptions. You've got playing time, playing style, championship contender, program tradition, campus lifestyle, stadium atmosphere, pro potential, brand exposure,
kind of like
academic
how the motivations
prestige,
is in Madden.
conference prestige, prestige, coach stability, athletic
In the way that
facilities,
shit,
and proximity.
The way that shit, I hope they fix that. I don't remember if they like fixed it a little bit, because I ain't really touched the beta of Madden 25 that much, because I ain't really give a fuck that much, bro. That shit it's different shit, but it's like we'll touch on that when Madden come around. We worry about college football.
To home. Each grade has a unique set of grading criteria. For example, playing time is graded on a per player basis. The player's overall or projected overall, if they are a recruit, is compared to the team's roster to project how many years it will take for them to become a starter. Actions you do on the recruiting trail will impact the playing time grade for both recruits and players on your current roster. Even if a player is a starter today, signing new players and recruiting may negatively impact their playing time grade and cause them to enter the transfer portal.
At
I hate
Progressive,
ads.
we don't believe...
On the other hand, Championship
every
Contender
damn fucking
uses
10
a
minutes.
combination
5
of your
minutes.
top 25 poll ranking, team prestige, and an assessment
It's
of your
all-star
current roster's
ads.
quality with Bud Elliott's blue chip ratio. Most grades update dynamically throughout the season, with some only updating at the end of the season. It's important to keep tabs on your grades throughout the season and how you're trending, because a slide in your grades could trigger decommits from verbally committed recruits or sudden transfer portal exodus at the end of the season. You can view all of your grades and detailed information in the My School screen accessible from the Recruiting Hub. This screen helps assess your school's strengths and weaknesses, offering steps to improve each grade. Recruits and where they come from. Each season, over 3,500 recruits are generated nationwide, and each recruiting class varies in talent and positions. Some years will feature abundant quarterback talent, while others have fewer standout prospects. Additionally, the quality and quantity of recruits vary by region. For example, Southern California is renowned for producing top quarterback talent, while East Texas consistently produces exceptional wide receivers. This approach ensures authenticity in representing high school talent across different regions. What a recruit cares about. Each recruit cares about one of 14 motivations aligned with specific grades. Their star rating influences which motivations matter most. 5-star recruits prioritize advancing to the next level, winning championships, and NIL opportunities, while 2-star recruits focus more on proximity to home, coach stability, and academics. Every recruit has 3 motivations they deeply care about, forming their ideal pitch. During discovery, recruiters aim to identify this quickly to gauge program alignment. If a recruit's ideal pitch includes a deal breaker, which is a non-negotiable motivation, failure to meet it means they won't engage with your program. Deal breakers persist throughout a player's time on your roster, reflecting a commitment you must uphold. Failing to meet a deal breaker could prompt a player to consider transferring at the season's end. Recruiting pipeline. It says when we analyze historical recruiting data, it was clear that even in today's day and age, recruiting is still highly regionalized. We discussed various recruiting strategies and tactics with current and former coaches, in particular how they handled recruiting in different areas of the country. First and foremost, it was clear that not every state is created equal when it comes to recruiting talent and pipelines. Having a pipeline in Florida is much more valuable than one in New York. This made clear that the traditional approach of having each state be its own pipeline wouldn't accurately represent the recruiting landscape. One of our goals was to balance pipelines in terms of the quality and quantity of recruits that come from them, as well as how schools tend to look at them. To determine pipeline strength, each school's recruiting classes over the past decade was examined. This data informed a tiered ranking system, assigning schools a pipeline level based on historical recruiting success. Higher pipeline levels increase a school's initial appeal to recruits and the effectiveness of their recruiting pitches. Pipeline levels are permanent, ensuring that schools historically strong in a region maintain a competitive edge. For instance, Florida schools excel in Central Florida, including areas like Lakeland, Tampa, and Orlando, while LSU's influence extends into East Texas and the Gulf Coast. Together, pipelines and deal breakers create a much more realistic and less exploitable recruiting experience. While it's still possible to land 4 stars as a small school, it will require the right fit and heavy investment of resources and time. Moving on to initial interests in top schools. Every recruit begins with an initial list of schools they're interested in. They evaluate each school based on the My School.
You got no choice but to just listen, bro. Like, you can't even really talk too much when it's so much information. Like, you just gotta take it all in, bro.
Schools grades, ideal pitch, motivations, and the home pipeline proximity. For example, recruits from Atlanta often favor southeastern schools initially, but some may consider schools outside the region if they better fit their needs. Prospects value in academics tend to consider similar schools. For instance, recruits interested in Rice often also look at Vanderbilt, Northwestern, and Stanford. Recruits may be open to any school or already narrowed down to their top 8 or top 5 based on their motivations and locations. As recruiting progresses, they narrow down their choices from open to top 8 to top 5 to top 3, and then they ultimately commit. Your goal is to stay above the cut.
Yo, I don't know if y'all can hear this shit, but these niggas outside doing this grass, bro, this shit about to piss me off. Why the fuck, bro? I feel like these niggas is deliberately by my motherfucking window, bro. Real shit.
Line each week by adjusting your recruiting strategy based on changing recruit statuses.
And then I get hit with an ad like, dog, this old ass lady on get the fuck off my screen, bro. I'm about to get mad.
So let's talk about the 3 stages of recruiting. The first stage of recruiting is discovery, where your goal is to learn information about the prospect as quickly as possible.
Oh my God.
Discovery starts with prospect identification. You can find prospects to recruit from the prospect list. The prospect list defaults to the recommended filter, which identifies recruits who would be a good fit for you. You can quickly filter the prospect list by positions or by top prospects, star rating, and state. The advanced search allows you to search for prospects that match a specific set of criteria. You can search for recruits using the following criteria.
I know y'all hear it. There's no way y'all don't hear it, bro. These niggas is loud as fuck by my window, bro. I'ma lose it.
Position, player archetype, state, minimum star rating, height, weight, handedness for quarterbacks only, and interest in your school. When viewing a recruit in the prospect list, you'll be able to see bio information about the recruit as well as key recruiting information like deal breakers and how interested they are in your school. Team needs. When setting up your board, know your roster strengths and weaknesses, how many graduates and returning starters you'll have. The team needs spreadsheet grades each position and details roster breakdowns by school year. It shows required players per position and tracks signings/targets. Scheme will also affect your positional needs. For example, the veer and shoot will need 10 wide receivers, whereas the pro style only needs 6. And this is tied to your playbook choice. Recruiting hours. Recruiting hours are your core currency for actions and scouting each week, determined by team prestige and season phase. Higher prestige teams have more hours. For instance, a 5-star program might start with 1,000 preseason hours compared to 350 for a 1-star program. Seasonal timing also affects recruiting hours. Preseason and offseason provide more time without Saturday games. In addition to the maximum recruiting hours you can spend in a week, each prospect has a maximum number of hours that you can spend on them in a given week. The default maximum is 50 hours, but this can be increased to a maximum of 70 hours if all three coaches have the always be recruiting ability for that position. The recruiting board. The recruiting board is where you'll focus most of your recruiting efforts. It lists all the recruits on your board with key details, allocated hours, scouting status, scholarship offers, scheduled visits, stage, and interest level. You'll also be able to filter this list. You can filter by prospects who are ready for a visit, prospects you haven't offered a scholarship to, recruiting stage, position, and more. Selecting a recruit lets you interact and view their bio details. A progression bar at the top.
Man, I real life cannot wait till this game come out, bro. Like, this game is gonna be generational. For real. Like, bro, this game, like, legitimately might be the greatest game dropped this year. Like, greatest game of the year, for sure. Greatest game all time is crazy, though. Like, it's been a lot of fucking good games.
Top tracks overall stage advancement. The overview tab summarizes each school's progress with the recruit. When a school bar fills, the recruit progresses to the next stage. Teams below the cut line are locked out from further communication with the recruit. Before you start offering scholarships and dictating recruiting hours to prospects, it's important to make sure you're targeting the right ones for your program. During the preseason, you are only able to scout and offer scholarships, so it is a great time to scout players and ensure you are targeting the right prospects. Prior to scouting a player, you'll only be able to see their star rating, height, weight, hometown, position, and archetype. You'll see question marks on their attributes, abilities, and development trait. The attributes represent the top 10 ratings for their archetype. Each attribute has 4 states of scouting: unscouted, partially scouted, mostly scouted, and fully scouted. When you scout a prospect, you uncover limited information, fully or partially revealing attributes and abilities, but not their development trait. Coaches stress that identifying a player's development trait requires intuition and direct contact, often revealed on National Signing Day or potentially during an official visit with the mind reader ability. Lower rated recruits pose more ambiguity and uncertainty in their skill set due to less exposure compared to higher rated prospects visible in media and high profile events. This uncertainty is captured in the gem/bust system when scouting may reveal a hidden talent. A 4-star gem could perform like a 5-star, while a 4-star bust might play more like a 3-star. Even a 5-star bust will remain a solid player.
Oh, bro, I was about to touch on the shit, then I get smacked in the face with a fucking ad. That sound fire. I like that. I like that idea. You know what I'm saying? A 5-star cannot be a true 5-star, but he'll still be good. And then a 4-star cannot be a true 4-star, or he'll play like a 3-star. So you know what I'm saying? And then so on and so on.
You find your ideal pitch. Once you've identified a prospect who meets your initial criteria, it's time to uncover their motivations. Each prospect has 3 motivations that form their ideal pitch. Quickly discovering their ideal pitch aligns their motivations with your
The main menu look fire though. I ain't gonna lie.
Program, crucial for stage 2 pitching. Stage 1 offers 5 recruiting actions to uncover
That spin looked a lot like how I did in 14. It's not a bad thing though. I like the way 14 moves.
And gain influence with the prospect. Each action requires recruiting hours, with higher hours accelerating information discovery and influence. The 5 recruiting actions are as follows. You can offer a scholarship, you can search social media, you can DM the player, you can contact friends and family, or you can just send the house and go all out for them. Now we move on to stage 2, the pitch. After the
man, them you up texts to a recruit go hit different, nigga. You up? Shit, we trying to get you down here, man, for a visit. How it sound, man? Get a call at 3 a.m., nigga. Imagine getting a call from a customer at 3 a.m., bro.
The recruit narrows their top schools down to 5. It's time to begin pitching the prospect on your school and what you have to offer. When pitching a prospect, there are 2 different pitch types you can use. You can soft sell, which awards a moderate amount of influence when choosing the correct pitch, but it also limits the downside risk and penalty of pitching the prospect on something they do not care about. You also have a hard sell, which provides the most influence when choosing the correct pitch, but it also comes with the largest penalty if you pitch the wrong thing. After choosing a pitch type, you select a pitch consisting of 3 motivations from a total of 20 pitches. For instance, the Sunday bound pitch emphasizes championship contention, conference prestige, and your school's track record of player success. To gain a competitive edge and align better with the prospect, you can sway their motivation. Successfully swaying gives them a new ideal pitch exclusive to your school, potentially creating a third combination. The likelihood of success increases with overlap between the original ideal pitch and the one you're proposing. For example, if their ideal pitch includes campus lifestyle, proximity to home, and program tradition, you might sway them towards a pitch like college experience, which includes academic prestige and stadium atmosphere. Then we move on to stage 3, the close. The final recruiting step is closing. This involves bringing the prospect for an official visit to make a lasting impression. To schedule a visit, the recruit must be considering your school among their top 5 choices, and you must have offered them a scholarship. The cost to schedule a visit is 40 recruiting hours, separate from your weekly allocation. Visits are crucially timed around the recruit's bye week or home game. You can host up to 4 recruits per week. Timing is strategic. While
I ain't gonna lie, I like this new system they got. Cause before you would just be like, give a recruit points and spend points on him just to get to know about how good he is, and then have him up like more points. You know what I'm saying? The more up you'll go on his top whatever. But on here is, you know what I'm saying, if you ain't got the means. But it's kind of the same though. But I think it's a couple more. I don't think all these was in 14, but it's kind of somewhat the same, but it's a little different. Like this is really different for real.
big rivalry
but the
game.
motivations and shit is kind of the same. And then, you know, you spend points on certain shit, but it's a different way to do it though.
Can boost your appeal. It also risks losing the recruit to another commitment beforehand. Game day and opponent strength also influence visits. Higher stakes games offer greater influence if won, whereas lower tier opponents provide little upside and potential downside if lost. Complementary positions among visiting recruits enhance the visit, while competitive ones distract. So for example, you may not want to have multiple QBs visiting at the same time, whereas if you have a quarterback and a wide receiver at the same time, that could be a good thing. During the visit, you choose from 14 activities aligned with prospect motivations and your My School grades. A successful visit can lead to a verbal commitment, but you must maintain engagement until signing day. If committed, a recruit with a deal breaker will decommit if your grade drops before signing day. Once signed, your focus shifts to retention and player happiness and post-transfer portal concerns.
I'll be damned if a recruiter flip his recruitment on signing day. I'll be pissed.
Next section is called Hey Coach, I'm sorry, but I've decided to leave. And it says here, the transfer portal has drastically reshaped college football in recent years, offering both opportunities to upgrade your roster quickly and risks of losing key players. Like recruits, players on your roster.
God damn, this nigga's a unit, bro. 6 foot, 237. God damn, boy. 91 overall, too.
Roster can have deal breakers, which are promises between you and them. Failing to meet these expectations can lead them to consider leaving in the offseason. A player's likelihood to transfer after the deal breaker is violated correlates with their overall rating. Your actions throughout the season, such as coaching changes, can affect your My School grades and increase a player's chance of transferring. Additionally, high overall players may opt to enter the NFL draft after 3 or more years in school, displaying their projected draft round. Once a player decides to leave, you can attempt to persuade them to stay. The success of these persuasion attempts depends on the player's overall and your coach prestige. After advancing the week, you'll see pro drafters.
I'm keeping all my players as long as I can. You doing all 4 years, nigga. Fuck leaving early.
Results reflecting real-world data trends based on the player overall and position. Each offseason, you must trim your roster back down to 85 players. If you exceed this limit, you'll need to encourage some players to transfer. Even if you're at or below the 85-player cap, you can still make room for new recruits by encouraging existing players to transfer. However, you can't ask newly signed freshmen to transfer as soon as they arrive on campus. So let's dive just a little.
Yeah, I think it'll be best if you hit the portal. You know what I'm saying? I'm hitting a lot of niggas with that. If you ain't up to par, yeah, I think you should go ahead and hit the portal, son. I don't think this is the right fit for you here, man.
Bit deeper on the transfer portal here. It says, as we said at the beginning, one of our goals was to make the transfer portal authentically unpredictable. This begins with players leaving. Some schools may face a mass exodus of players, while others may be left untouched. Once all the players have decided whether to stay or go, the transfer portal will officially open at the start of offseason recruiting. During the 4-week offseason recruiting period, transfers make their final decisions on National Signing Day, causing the rapid roster changes. Teams face decisions: pursue high school recruits or target immediate impact transfers. transfers. Balancing time between discovering transfer motivation, scouting, and selling your program is crucial. Transfers are rated based on overall and ranked nationally, statewide, and by position. Each has a unique ideal pitch and motivations, including a deal breaker that prompted their transfer. They evaluate schools based on alignment with their motivations, considering pipelines and proximity to home. High demand 4 and 5-star transfers limit their choices to 5 schools. Others vary in the number they consider. Signing day. Just like the real world, College Football 25 features both early signing day and national signing day. Each signing day takes place at the start of bowl season and after the regular season has been completed. National signing day takes place 7 weeks after the national championship. On signing day, players committed to a school beforehand sign their letter of intent, preventing decommits. Most prospects commit by early signing day, but some decisions extend into the later cycle. Transfers also sign their letters on National Signing Day. Unsigned recruits after National Signing Day become walk-ons in the offseason. No longer do recruited players disappear without a commitment. The team with the highest influence on signing day secures the player, provided they offered a scholarship, a significant improvement.
These niggas grab no 1 or 2 star. Them niggas is not going. Them niggas is not going for none of that. They said, fuck all that. We're going straight 5 to 4 stars. And a couple 3 stars in there. But, damn, I forgot what I was about to say.
For clarity and player engagement. Position changes. Following signing day, you will have the opportunity to change player positions ahead of off-season progression. Players will be able to change to any other position regardless of their original position. The position change spreadsheet will show you their projected overall at the new position, which archetype they would become, and where they would rank on your depth chart. So let's move on to player progression. It says the offseason is the most impactful time period when it comes to player development. While players can improve throughout the season, the bulk of their progression and development happens during the spring and summer. Players automatically progress their attributes and physical abilities, with mental abilities remaining unchanged to emphasize player differentiation. Player progression primarily occurs during the offseason following position changes. Progression depends on factors like school year, coach abilities, and developmental trait. Younger players such as rising sophomores experience larger leaps and attributes to reflect real-world physical maturation differences. Coaching staff impacts development significantly. For instance, motivators with the abilities like Pay It Forward provide bonus XP to a position group every time a player at that position is drafted in the first 3 rounds. There are 4 different player development traits: normal, impact, star, and elite. Skill groups. Players progress by upgrading entire skill groups rather than individual attributes like trucking. Each skill group, such as the running back power skill group, encompasses related attributes like strength, stiff arm, toughness, jumping, and injury, with a maximum level of 10. Some players may have a lower cap for certain skill groups. Skill group caps represent a player's maximum potential in that area, varying by player, skill group, position, and archetype. Once a skill group reaches its cap, further upgrades are only possible for coaches with the architect archetype, using abilities like Limitless or Put a Ring on It. And when it comes to abilities, while progressing, players will look to upgrade their physical abilities if they meet the rating requirement. Every tier of a physical ability has an associated attribute requirement. For example, in order to have a platinum workhorse ability, a player must have 95 toughness. Impact players. Impact players are back and are a quick way for you to easily identify the key players on the other team. Every team will have at least 1 offensive and 1 defensive player who is an impact player. However, unlike the past, there is no limit to the number of impact players a team can have. Explosive offenses with playmakers everywhere might have 5 or 6 impact players across the board, letting you know straight up that they got dudes and they are about to cook. Wear and tear. With the introduction of the new wear and tear system, the week-to-week management of your players is more essential than ever before. Players can incur damage to body parts during gameplay. The more damaged the body part is, the more it will impact their on-field performance. In addition to on-field gameplay, players will also incur wear and tear damage during the Super Sim. Each week, players recover from wear and tear damage based on the severity of the injuries. For example, if a running back severely injured his right ankle, but only slightly injured his left shoulder in the previous game, his shoulder will fully recover the next week, while his ankle would show only slight improvement. Managing player health involves deciding whether to rest them to promote full recovery or risk playing them, potentially prolonging their healing process. Now let's move on to the college football playoff. So it says here, during development, members of the team were able to participate in mock selection committee sessions hosted by the college football playoff to help better understand the process of how the committee determines their rankings. With the expansion of the new 12-team format, they were able to apply those learnings to project how the committee will value wins and losses in a world where going undefeated in a power.
NC State ranked #1 is quite literally the craziest shit I've seen all year.
conference is going to be less and less common, and the perception of schedule imbalance continues to widen. While the media and coach polls run throughout the entire season, you'll need to wait for the calendar to turn to November before you start to get the first peek at how the 12-team playoff bracket is shaping up. It says we created unique logic for the college football playoff poll to model how we anticipate the rankings to look in the new format. Generating a believable opinion-based poll is no easy feat, especially one where we are projecting what may happen versus being able to use real-world results as our reference point. Each week of the season, coaches, media, and college football playoff polls, along with the 12-team bracket update based on the most recent results and the final rankings and bracket, are revealed following the completion of the conference championship games. In terms of seeding, the only way to get a first-round bye is to be one of the 4 highest-ranked conference champions. So an undefeated Notre Dame or any independent, as well as a winner of the Pac-12, can be seeded no higher than 5th and will never be eligible to skip the playoff first round. The new 12-team format brings excitement with first-round games played on campus, offering teams full home field advantage. Playoff quarterfinals and semifinals are held at
fire. A playoff game in college at home, that bitch should be fire, nigga.
Bowl venues from the former New Year's Six, the Orange, Sugar, Rose, Fiesta, Cotton, and
but I think
Peach
it's
Bowl.
only the first.
The college
one.
football championship game,
but that's still fire though.
Its own rotation of hosts. Starting with the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, the championship game will rotate through an additional 10 locations before looping back around as you continue deeper into your dynasty. 34 bowl games are also featured, each using their real-world bowl tie-ins. Conferences. Every conference is set to the 2024 alignment. The Sun Belt is the last conference to feature divisions, and the scheduling logic has been set for both current season as well as the future year rotation based on each conference's rule set. The SEC will accurately follow the 8-game with 1 protected opponent rotation, while the Big Ten will utilize their 9-game flex protect model and so on. If you prefer to reset the conferences to a previous configuration, push forward to a potential future, or just blow everything up and make whatever conference membership you want and adjust the rules to your liking, you have the power to do that with custom conferences. You can adjust any conference to as little as 4 schools to as large as 20. Schools can also go independent for maximum schedule flexibility,
Bro, I hate Oregon and UCLA and Big Ten. They added that in there. I would say, when the fuck did Florida State get in the Big Ten? But Oregon and UCLA, bro, what the fuck is that? That shit don't even sound right, my nigga. I'm gonna touch on that when he done talking.
Fit a potential first-round bye in the college football playoff. Each conference rules can be edited, including division, presence names, number of annual conference games, hosting of the conference championship games, and more. Moving conference does not mean you are stuck with the old conference jersey patches or the logos on the 25-yard line. These will dynamically update based on the conference membership. Moving on to the schedules, it says it's not enough to make sure that the schedules rotate and that the home and away gets flipped each new year. If it's the 3rd Saturday in October, Tennessee better be playing Alabama. If it's Thanksgiving weekend, then the Iron Bowl, the big game, Florida State versus Florida, and a host of other rivalry games better be on the table next to the turkey and the stuffing. The scheduling system will make sure that those special games get filled in the correct weeks before adding in the rest of the conference and non-conference slate to get each school to their 12 games. For non-conference games, we have included as many real-world games as were announced by the time we had to lock schedules. So when you get to 2027 and 2028, the Florida State-Georgia home game and home series will already be scheduled. Week 0 has also become a recent tradition in college football, allowing some schools to start their seasons a week earlier than Labor Day weekend. These games are scheduled in the first year of Dynasty mode and continue in subsequent years, though most schools still begin their seasons on Labor Day weekend. And you can set your own schedule. You can customize your non-conference game schedule each preseason using custom schedules.
Nigga, we getting the hardest schedule first year. I don't give a fuck. We getting the hardest schedule. I'm giving us the hardest schedule week 1. I don't give a fuck.
Games are locked and cannot be edited, while non-conference games are editable. And of course, we got to talk about Team Builder really quickly, and it basically just says Team Builder is back and you can import up to 16 Team Builder teams in a private online dynasty. The commissioner will need to replace existing FBS schools with the Team Builder teams they want to add when setting up the dynasty. They also got some information in here about redshirting. It says college football has evolved both on and off the field, including recent overhauls and how the red shirts are managed. Players can now participate in up to 4 games per season and still retain their red shirt eligibility. Each preseason, you select which players you intend to redshirt. Throughout the season, you can track their games played to decide whether you want to continue playing them or preserve their redshirt status. And what about the trophies? Well, the rivalry trophies will be in the game and on the line, and the winner of each contest will take home their trophy.
Bro, I just seen this shit when I was waiting for this video, but this nigga Ollie, I think it said he rumored to transfer to Georgia, bro. That shit gonna be insane.
and the bragging rights for
Oklahoma
that
gonna be
year.
sick.
Of course, you've got the Heisman Award, which you can track each week in the season, keeping tabs on the Heisman Watch to see who's in the running for the prestigious award. In addition to the Heisman, it says we have individual positional awards like the Lou Groza, Lombardi, the Unitas Golden Arm Award, among others. We also have the Broyles Award for the best coordinator in the country to go along with our Head Coach of the Year award. Preseason and postseason All-American teams are named annually as well. In the preseason, both first and second team All-American teams are named at the national and conference level. The postseason All-American teams feature first, second, and freshman teams at the national and conference level. They also briefly mention stat tracking and the record book. The record book covers player records on a career, season, and game level. There's also coaching stats so you can follow your coach's lifetime accomplishments, and it also serves as a way to get a look at each coach's current job security status so that you can get an early look at what jobs may become available on the coaching carousel. And lastly, we've got pride stickers. It says for certain schools like Ohio State and Florida State, the pride stickers that are applied to the individual player's helmet over the course of the season are as iconic as any other tradition in college football. Each season, the helmet starts fresh, and over the course of the season, based on the player's performance, pride stickers are added to give visual representation of that player's accomplishments. And it says that they worked with each school to understand their fill pattern to make sure that the stickers are being applied over the course of the season, are being added in the correct pattern based on how the school applies them in real life. I really tried to make this video as short as I could, but they just put out way too much information. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to know some more about gameplay for college,
nigga, talk about too much information. But hey, that's what niggas wanted, you know what I'm saying? That niggas waited a long time for this bitch. Like I said though, man, y'all gonna tap in with the guy Eric Mayweather. I'm gonna call him Eric Mayweather. You feel me? Great fucking guy. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know what to call it. Sports game news reporter, I guess. I don't know. But man, the two things I wanted to touch on before I get up out of here, get out y'all here. The conferences I'm thinking about doing, I'm gonna do like all the teams that's on like the Atlantic coast. They're gonna be in the ACC. All the southern teams, like the big, it's not gonna be every like, you know, team in that area, but like the big schools, you know what I'm saying? They like SEC, all the southern schools, it's gonna be SEC. The Pac-12 is gonna be back to the Pac-12, the Pacific teams. Big Ten is gonna be all them teams up there, some East Coast teams, you feel me? Cause I just feel like that's how the shit should be in real life. You know what I'm saying? I was thinking about doing how it used to be. You know what I'm saying? Before they just did this weird ass shit, putting UCLA and shit in the Big Ten. I'm not doing that shit. That shit ass. I don't know why the fuck they did that shit. But yeah, that's that. And then the other one, we down to 2 teams, man. We down to 2 teams for our first rebuild, our main rebuild for College Football 25. We got Coastal Carolina. That field and them jerseys, and then, you know what I'm saying, it's a good area, pipeline states. It's just a good rebuild for sure. I got a lot of interest in that shit. And then Florida Atlantic, FAU. Those are the 2 teams. You feel me? Those are the final 2 teams right now. The game come out in like 2 weeks, I think. I think you can start playing it if you got early access on the 15th. So that's a Monday. So that's right around the fucking corner, bro. It's right around the corner. You know what I'm saying? But y'all let me know what teams y'all, not what teams y'all want me to do, but out of those 2 teams, Florida Atlantic and Coastal Carolina, which of those teams y'all want me to do? And then let me know what y'all go do, you know what I'm saying? I know a lot of y'all is doing a whole bunch of other teams that I don't got no interest in, but feel me, to each his own. You know, if that floats your boat, that floats your boat. But I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here, man. It's been a long fucking day. It's already fucking 3 o'clock. Gotta edit this bitch. I already edited the first part of this shit. Damn, 50 minutes. Holy fuck. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here, man. I love y'all boys.